Welcome back. So have you bought an internet-connected device from a large retailer like Amazon or Walmart lately? If you did, how safe do you think you are from hackers? It seems that recent research shows that due to inconsistent testing and evaluation by device manufacturers and a lack of government standards, that you are not all safe. We explore why.
Yeah, let's start there. It seems like our favorite pet peeve right now, a lack of government standards.
I have a quick note on the.
Go ahead.
Anyone that has an Alexa of some form, I just read this the other day, and it's very interesting to me. If you've ever asked your Alexa to do something, or if it's asked to play a game, maybe like a Jeopardy, or you've asked it to play ocean sounds, or something that's not directly music related, what it's doing is going to a third party to create to find that app to do what you want. So ocean sounds app, and that creates a new section of your Amazon Alexa. So you can go to the app and you can find that and see all the ones that you've done from a third party, and you can see the reviews. I had 17 myself.
Okay, should I be scared right now?
And apparently that's where some of the issues of the hackers can come from, because if you're letting these third parties in, when you accept it, basically, that some of these are not very verified or, have not been well researched or anything. So you're kind of just letting them in.
Let me be blunt here. There's no federal law setting standards for internet-connected devices before they reach consumers. Best we got, gee, surprise, California. And their law only requires manufacturers to introduce, quote, reasonable security features, unquote, in internet-connected devices that went into effect, and that went into effect in 2020, January. So about a little over a year ago. The law helps prevent attacks relying on default passwords, but not much else. And as far as all of this stuff, there was a federal law that was passed, but it introduced security requirements for Internet of Things devices used by the government, but that's voluntary too. So what are we talking about? We're talking about devices that may be in your home right now, where not only hackers can get into, but with some of those devices, get into it and not leave a trace that they were ever there to manipulate or take over your device. Now let that sink in for a minute.
And maybe are we specifically saying, is that our only concern of the hackers themselves, or is it how our data is being used? And let's not even say from hackers, from the companies that use, or how maybe they're selling the data to other companies to try and either sell to us.
I'm not even that deep yet.
Okay.
I'm still trying to here's something that I've talked about and it finally happened. And this scares me because this is what I've been talking about. All right. Now, I'm not talking about the Amazon Ring hack or the Google Nest hack. ADT, security company, always there.
Oh, yeah, ADT.
Was sued after one of its own employees accessed the cameras of more than 200 customers without authorization by exploiting what the lawsuit claimed were inadequate security procedures. This is what I'm talking about right here, that even in the best of times, somebody who has access to this stuff for nefarious purposes of their own that has nothing to do with the government, nothing to do with the company, and hacks it and gets it anyway. This is what I'm talking about right here. This right here.
ADT will be watching you.
Not just them. But the point is that we've got all these devices, and when you're out shopping, there is nothing that tells you this one's secure, this one is not. There's nothing. So you don't know which companies are taking your security seriously and which companies are just giving you lip service. Florida tech researchers found some vulnerabilities in some of this stuff that was sold. They went to the company before they announced their findings. And as of this article, the company had not made any updates to resolve the problems. So what do you do? What do you do? I mean, when you're looking at risk, you need to ask these questions, but I'm not even sure, in the absence of standards, here we go again, how you even approach that to evaluate. You've got good third parties like Consumer Reports that I would trust for evaluation, but they may not evaluate everything. And with the electrical devices changing the way they change constantly, by the time the review comes out, that article may no longer be made. Had that happen with a camera a number of years ago, that they recommended a camera, top-end camera. But I read the review, that camera was no longer made. But I bought its replacement, which was as good, if not a little better, but that hadn't been reviewed. So what do? How do you know? I mean, there's no anything. There are some companies that are doing it, but there are companies that are selling in these mass market stores these devices that we're buying, bringing home, connecting to our internet, exposing our safety, security, and privacy to these devices, which can come in and hack, manipulate, otherwise do awful things, or at least compromise and set us up for a hack, a stealing of information, or our very safety. It's not okay. It's just not. So yeah, I'm not even to the point yet, Chase, of what the companies are doing with the data, which is another level of information. Have we, by buying their device, given them permission to accumulate certain information about us? Again, no federal standard, so we don't know. Can you opt out? We don't know.
If they're just waiting for you to say the word Alexa and then it respond, it's listening for that. We could assume that Alexa is that trigger word, which is what it's supposed to be, but how do we know if they're just, we basically do know, right? It's more or less listening all the time.
More or less, and it's supposedly not keeping it.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah.
We
don't know.
Let's just be blunt.
We don't know.
Who knows?
So
the company
I'll
says,
I'll take my guess.
Yeah, I will too, and I'm sure you and I will agree on that point. But that's the problem. Folks, we are in a technology-rich, information-driven society, whether you like it or not. And even if you are all in with the Internet of Things or not in much, I don't have a smart speaker at home, but I have a smartphone, which is almost as bad. I have a internet-connected video camera. I have a computer. I have a laptop. So in ways I am connected to the internet, I am connected, which makes it a risk. The question is, I don't know just how risky it is as a consumer, as a citizen. I don't even know if my rights are being violated because there are no standards. I have nothing to measure it against. I have nowhere to ask that question and get a by law honest answer.
You said you had some good news?
I did.
In the last minute here?
Yeah. Let me jump to the good news. In Arizona, the local utility is actually teaming up with the Department of Energy to get more mileage out of those devices that use or generate energy. Yeah. So it will allow Arizona Public Service and its customers to save money through the synchronization of potentially 1 million of smart devices on the grid. So there is some good news.
So there'll be some oversight is what you're saying.
Yeah,
maybe.
oversight and a chance to either save money or make some money.
Okay.
Not necessarily bad.
All right.
Not necessarily bad at all. So it's not all bad news.
Yeah.
Just mostly.